Hello and welcome to the Mama Means Business podcast. I'm your host, Siobhan Bent, and I am so excited to be back with another episode with a mama on a mission to change the world. Today, my guest is Mrs. Rochelle Wilson Ford. Did I get that correct?
It's
Ford-Wilson.
Ford-Wilson, but it's the same thing, Mama.
Same
Yeah.
thing.
My husband would say it's the opposite.
Awesome. I'm so sorry, but I got it. Ford-Wilson. So thank you so
Yes,
much for
thank you.
joining me on the Mama Means Business podcast. This is a space that I'm hoping to create and build where fellow mompreneurs can come together and to just share, their business strategies, wins, lessons, and, give insight to other moms because I'm very passionate about moms understanding that there's more to the traditional way of doing things, especially when we're trying to be examples and models for our children. And so entrepreneurship is something I'm extremely passionate about. I've been connected with you socially for several years. I've seen you evolve as a coach. I've seen you evolve now an author, a mom. I'm so excited to be able to speak with you. And so let's get started. Tell the people, who is Mrs.
Yes.
Rochelle Ford-Wilson?
Thank you so much for having me, by the way, Queen. I'm so excited to be here. And yes, I am all for your mission. I'm so excited today. So my name is Rochelle Ford-Wilson, like you said, and I am the Queen boss of Queen Success by Rochelle, which is my business. And basically, it is a lifestyle coaching, speaking, and now author brand where I'm empowering moms around the world to live their best life as a mom, but also as a woman and a queen. So if you know anything about queenhood or anything like that, you probably think of the queen lifestyle, the uppity lifestyle, someone who has privileges. But for me, what queen basically means is a woman who's in her own damn right. She is walking her talk. She is taking good care of herself, right? She is raising her babies, but she's also making sure that the queen inside of her is doing well. So that's what my brand and my business is all about. And that's why I connected so well with you, because you're doing the damn thing as well.
Come on now. Come on. Let's high five each other because that's amazing. I do believe that we do. I'm not sure if you're familiar with my backstory. So how I even evolved into the Siobhan that you see today really stems from my upbringing. I was raised by a mom who did it all by herself. She had three of us. I was the eldest. And so I saw firsthand how she was so focused on making sure that we were okay, that she sometimes forgot about herself. And I knew that that was something that I didn't want to repeat in my own life. And so for a long time, that led to me not deciding I wasn't having any children. But of course, that changed 10 years ago when I had my son. And, it's tough. It's tough to, one, be a mom and to do everything. And then when you add it to entrepreneurship, like you literally will have to be intentional to take care of yourself, to be the queen in every area of your life. So we definitely are in alignment with that. And so that's why I was so excited when you said, yes, you would come to my podcast and share, how you've been able to serve the queens throughout the world. And I love it. I love it. So can you share what led you on this journey to serve this community of women and mothers?
Yeah, no, 100%. For me, I also, well, I should say also, my parents were married and, my mom grew us up as a family household, but in relation to what you said about your story, my mom did the exact same thing as a married woman. She put her kids first. She sacrificed a lot of her own dreams, her goals. And just really, you can see that depletion in her every day when you looked at her, right? So I knew for a fact that I didn't want to be like that either. I talk about my mom a lot in my book, and she she is a queen of my life. She's taught me so much valuable lessons, but I knew for a fact one of them was I need to take care of myself to be the best mom, wife, etc. I can be. So yeah, that kind of led to the queenhood today. But basically, my story is that I became a mom really early in life. So I actually was the opposite of you. I was like, I want to start a family. I want to find my my king. I want to do it all early, get it out the way. So I met my husband like when I was like 18. And long story short, we ended up having our first baby by the time I was 21. And obviously that's like really young in a lot of people's eyes. And for me, as
Right.
much as I wanted to start a family young, I didn't think it'd be that young, but it did happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I just didn't like the connotations that I got with people saying, oh, your life is over. Motherhood has to be
Yeah.
top priority for you. Forget everything else. You pretty much messed up your life. So good luck.
Oh, wow.
But it type of person that I am with the spirit that I have, thank God, I was like, no, that's not my story. That's not who I am. And I will not let that stereotype define me.
Come
So
on
I
now.
actually had my son, right? I had my son literally 3 days after my graduation from university. So I walked across the stage, 9 months pregnant.
Ooh,
Then I had him 3 days later. So
you
that was
did
also my first,
that. Oh
right?
my
That
gosh.
was my first
Congratulations.
thing. I
Yes.
was Thank you. Thank you. I was like, yeah, we're getting myself a degree before we have this baby. So I had my son. I went back to work afterwards. And I just basically knew from that point on that I was going to make every single desire of mine a reality with my child in tow. So,
Mm-hmm.
long story short, fast forward into that story. I started becoming like that typical burnt out mom. I was like doing my
Oh.
best to work the 9 to 5, do my side hustles to, create my businesses. And that led to a lot of burnout. And that's pretty much
Mm.
how this brand became. So I was ambitious. I wanted the big goals, the big dreams, but at the same time, I was literally burning myself to the ground. And I'm like, how can we as women and moms create the desires of our heart, take really good care of ourselves, and raise a child at the same time and a family? That
Mm-hmm.
to me felt like it was a lost cause, is either one or the other. And
Yeah, they're
again, the
right.
stubborn Aries, I was like, nope, there has to be another way. I'm not down for this. So I took a long journey into personal development, into self-care. I studied with femininity coaches. I did
Mm.
the work on myself, but also my business at the same time. That really
Okay.
led to me kind of falling upon a coach that kind of taught me the queen archetype. And
Mm.
again, it's in chapter 1 of my book, Queenhood is Calling, where I talk about that. I said, when I found out the queen archetype, the power behind the term queen, what it really means, and how us women can walk that archetype out in our daily lives, whether you're a mom or not, I knew that that was like
Right.
going to be a part of my brand. It was like, yes, this is exactly what it is. So I ran with it,
Okay.
and that was in 2000, and I would say 2015.
Okay.
I fastened my brand. I started my brand as Young Mommy Fabulous, which I don't know if you were with me those days, but it was Young Mommy
Yes, I do.
Fabulous
That
first.
sounds, yes, yes, yes. I do remember. I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
remember. Mhm.
And then a lot of moms were reaching out to me and were like, Rochelle, I'm not a millennial mom. I don't consider myself a young mom, but I do love your story. I love your mission. How do I, work with you, or, join your movement, but still feel like you're talking to me? So I started to think about it. I'm like, you're right. There's no age limit to a
Right.
woman stepping into her queenhood, right? So I decided to
Absolutely.
rebrand myself. Yeah, I started to rebrand myself in 2018, and that's how Queen Success by Rochelle started. So
Come on
that's a
now.
quick
What a
snippet.
no, that's amazing. But of course, everything that we do as women, I mean, not everyone is a mother, but I do believe that
Yeah.
every woman, even if they don't have their own children, they are some form of influence on someone who's younger than them, right? So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely how you serve the community would definitely be impactful for both mothers and women.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
thank you for sharing that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's called Queen. What's your book called?
Reclaiming My Queen. Oh, I can't even get that. There you go. Where is
Can't even
it?
get it. Ooh,
There
yay!
it
Congratulations. So tell me a little bit about the
Thank you.
journey, how reclaiming my queen in print came about.
Yes. So, like I said in my story, I definitely drew on to the archetype of queen really early on. And I was like, this is exactly what I want to embody in my life. And throughout my time, I kept talking about like, I want to reclaim that inner person that I knew I was. And I didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
word queen yet, but I knew that there was someone inside of me like a version of myself, the highest version of myself, that I was like, she's taking good care of herself. She is walking her talk. She is showing up with confidence, with trust in herself. All of those beautiful, delicious, good things that us women have inside of us that we have to
Right.
reclaim.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that that's a part of my brand and what I was helping moms with. So when the queen archetype came and fell into my lap, I was like, yes, we're claiming my queen. And I just kind of ran with it. So
Okay.
obviously, when I was like, it's time to write the book, I was like, what is the title going to be? And it's like, poof, reclaiming my queen.
Okay.
So
Okay. So what was the
yeah.
process like of putting together all those thoughts, all the things that you're working on actively into a book? Like I know I've written a book, I've written a chapter, let me correct myself. I've written a chapter of a book, and that was a stressful because it had a limited amount of pages, a limited amount of words. I'm just like, there's so much more, even though I don't coin myself as a writer. I thought it was so
Mm-hmm.
challenging to just condense everything and still tell an
Yes.
effective story so that the reader would be able to resonate with my words. Tell me a little bit about that process.
Yeah, for sure. When you're writing a book, a chapter, whatever it is, it's one of those things where you really have to be intentional with what you want to get across to your audience. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, when I was going to start to write the book, I knew that there's specific stories and elements to my coaching and my own experience. So in the book, you're going to hear a lot about my raw, down to the ground stories, experiences, things like that. But there were so many things that I knew had to be involved in the book. So what I did was I wrote a proposal, like an outline of the book first. I didn't just like
Mm-hmm.
jump into a document and start writing the book. I was like, okay, I want to be really intentional with this book. I didn't want it to be no Harry Potter book where it's like 500
Right.
pages or, I knew I wanted it to be a nice, concise, straight to the point book. So I wrote up the proposal, really highlighting, okay, this is what I want to talk about for sure. This is the story that I want to attach to that chapter, that theme. And then I kind of just went with it, and it got to 10
Okay.
chapters, and I was like, okay, this is great. And then right after I did the final outline, I'm like, wait, something's missing. And that's how chapter 11 came into being, which it worked out perfectly
Mm-hmm.
because chapter 11 in my book is queen mindset. And I truly believe in
Mm.
my work and my life, mindset
Yeah.
ties everything together. So that was like the
Everything.
right. It is a make it or break it of everything that I do and everything that we do as humans. So when I got that chapter download, I was like, that's the perfect chapter to end it out, to close, like bring everything together in such a beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
package and finish the book. So I was really fortunate to have that download come into play. And
Right.
that's how I got my book formulated.
Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations again. I'm looking forward to reading it. I'm looking forward to reading it. So we talked about
Thank
your
you.
business. We haven't talked about the babies because, this is about the Mama Means
Ah!
Business show. So how many
Yes.
children do you have? Tell us about your
Yes. So
kids.
yes, I have four beautiful kids, which I'll preface this
Woo
to say
woo!
I was planning to have two. I was planning to have two. I was always like, yeah, I want a boy and a girl. That's my life. And somehow I ended up with four. But I'm
Somehow,
so
we don't
grateful.
really know
So
how, but
right?
somehow.
We don't know how. I was a boy mom for a long time. If you follow me, I had three boys
Yes.
and a stepson, so four total. And my husband were like, "Yeah, we're done. This is it." And then somehow God said, "Nope, you need one more, and your princess is coming." And I got pregnant, and I was like, "What?" And then I found out it's a girl. So yeah, she is the topping of our family.
Well, of course, you need to have a mini queen to replicate the system,
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yes.
That's so exciting. That's so
Exactly.
exciting. So tell me a little bit, how do you juggle? And I
Yeah.
don't like the term balance, but
Yes.
how do you structure your time
Hmm.
between business and mommyhood? What have you found that
Yes. And I
works
love
well
that
for you?
question. Yeah, I am with you on that. I don't believe in balance as well. In the book, I talk about this, and as well as if you follow me at any time, I always say this. I tell moms, you got to be committed yet flexible in your life. And I quote
Mm,
that because I literally live by that saying. I don't necessarily feel like, oh, you got to do this at 9 a.m. You got to do this at 2. You got to make sure you do this before you go to bed at at 10. Like that doesn't work in our life as moms, especially the more children you have. Things get really
Right.
crazy and really fast. But when you are a queen of your life, a queen of your time, your day, your energy,
Mm-hmm.
you decide what really matters that needs to get done in that day, and then you forget the rest. And you kind of work it
Mm,
around your life, work it around your children, work it around, you know, what's going on in your day. So when you're flexible, you know that, all right, if I didn't get it done at 10 a.m. this morning because my kid accidentally, you know, was late for school or was sick and I had to do something else,
mm-hmm.
you know that, all right, as much as I didn't get that done yet, it's a must for me for today. And I'm going to be
Right.
flexible with where I place that in my day. So I'm committed to
Okay.
getting that end result done, but I'm not, you know, really set on a specific time or a specific way that I'm going to get it done. So I'll give you an example because I know I like to give examples in my book. Writing this
Mm-hmm.
book, as you can only imagine, with 4 kids at home, and this is during a pandemic, 2020,
Girl.
when I wrote this book, um, it was pretty crazy, right? Like, how can I set time to write in peace with all these kids at home, homeschooling, cooking, my husband's home, everyone's just like
Yes.
in my space. So I really had to be flexible yet committed when it comes to writing this book. So a lot of times, I actually wrote this book while I was breastfeeding my baby while on my phone at night. So I had downloaded the
Mm.
app, Google Docs on my phone, and whatever
Yeah.
I didn't finish on the laptop that day or didn't do, I would literally log into my phone while I'm breastfeeding, 12 a.m. in the morning,
Come
typing and
on.
writing my book. So, right? So that is,
Jeez.
thank you. It was not easy, but that's commitment and intentionality at its finest, I think.
And flexibility, girl.
Yes, right?
Shift to the left. Let me get this note in.
Exactly. Right? Got to do what you got
I
to do,
love
man.
it. Gotta do what you gotta do because mamas who mean business, we get it done. We get it done, right? On whatever
Yes.
time works for us, but we
Yes.
get it done. And the children are happy and healthy in the
Yes.
same time. Awesome.
Right? Best of both worlds.
So where can everyone find your book? How can they get access to
Yes.
the
Yes.
gems?
So Reclaiming My Queen is now available all on Amazon. I was really excited to use Amazon because of their reach. We all know Amazon is
Mm-hmm.
king in the days, but I will
Yes.
be actually expanding distribution into other ways. So if you're local, there's going to be some bookstores in my hometown of Ontario. But if you're not, Amazon's the best way to get it. And if
Awesome.
you don't have Amazon, you can also download my Kindle, my ebook version.
Oh, lovely, lovely. I'm now trying to embark
Yeah.
on because I'm an avid, I read, right? But I'm an
Yes.
avid book buyer. Okay. I have
Hmm.
books coming out of my yin yang, okay, and no place to put
Yeah.
them. So I'm trying to transition into this ebook thing. It's not the same, but
Yes.
you still get the
It's
content.
not.
So, so I'm glad to hear
Yeah.
that I can get the
Yeah.
ebook
Me too.
copy.
You can.
Awesome. So as we are coming to a close, I would love for you to share, if you can, three of your top um resources, tools, or strategies that help you, like tangible strategies that help you to effectively do all that you do to encourage another mom who's listening. Because I'm very, as I said, very passionate about entrepreneurship, but I know there's a lot of moms that when they think about taking care of
Yes.
children, taking care of self, and then running a business, it's very intimidating. And I
Yes.
believe that business is the way to wealth, right? Not everybody can be a full-time entrepreneur, but everybody has a capacity to start a business at
Yes.
even, a side hustle,
Hmm.
But yeah, what can you share that will give moms the encouragement to know that it can be done, or what can they use to be able to do it effectively?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's so like my mind was sparkling with thousands of things that I could come up with, but I'm gonna be very simple to start with because I think the
Hmm.
person who's starting or needs that inspiration doesn't want complication. So
For sure.
I'll speak for myself, right? So the first thing is time is everything, right? We are very limited with our time, but also time is a precious resource. So as
Hmm.
a mom, a woman, a queen, you got to manage your time well. Knowing that you have to work around a family, around a job, if they're working a full-time job and they're trying to start a side hustle or write a book even,
Right.
you have to
Hmm.
plan accordingly. And for me, that is my Google Calendar. I literally set alerts
Mm.
on my Google. So it'll ping on my iPhone, it'll ping on my Apple Watch, it'll ping on my laptop. Like you'll hear alerts all the time. And my kid's like, "Oh, mom, your phone's going off." I'm like, "Oh, that's just my Google Calendar, baby. Thank you." You know what I mean? Because if it's not scheduled, it does not exist in my world. So
For sure.
get your calendar together, ladies. It's huge, 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 huge. If you have, I used to be a paper and pen type of girl where I loved writing out my day, and but as I got really busy, got more kids, I'm like, no, I need virtual. I need the Google Calendar with the
Mm-hmm.
alerts, which I love. So get
Right.
yourself, a calendar system. It doesn't have to be Google, because anything that works for you, but Google is good because it goes on like every platform and it connects to
Everything. Yep.
everything. So
Yeah.
I would say that's number one. Number two, I don't know if you heard of the Flow app. So Flow is a cycle tracker for us women on our periods, or
Mm-hmm.
people who have periods. And I think for ladies, that's really helpful, especially if you're trying to miss having children. You want to take care of your health. But I use it for so much more. You're laughing, but I'm telling you, when I did the work with my femininity coach on cycles, if you're literally tracking your cycle, you'll know when you have the highest energy, when you have the lowest energy, when you are like, yo, I need to focus, and when you cannot. It's like we are actually these really beautiful beings, us women, that
Mm-hmm.
we have specific times in our month when we're the best at something, or when you
Yes.
should avoid doing something. So I started to track my cycle, and I use the Flow app, and it really helps because it allows me to know why I keep hitting a wall trying to do something,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not the time of the month for me to do it. So
Right.
if you don't know anything about that, pick up some books. I have some great resources in my book. So at the end of my book, I have this page called Clean Resources.
Oh,
And
lovely.
I
Okay.
literally list all the books that I literally studied and used to help me with that. So there's some great resources there to help your audience. So yeah, get the Flow app, track your cycle, start figuring out why you're feeling the way you feel, and then work
Mm-hmm.
around it. Don't fight against it. And then lastly, you said three. So I would say the last one would probably be some sort of document system. So I love Canva. Canva, literally, I use it for business. I use it for my baby's invitations for a birthday party. I use it for everything under the
Yes.
sun. And I know your audience probably is like, yes, girl, Canva is it.
Canva is the
So
goat. Okay.
right? If you don't have time to hire a designer, like we all know when you start a business, you're on some tight budget strings, right? So
Right.
do
Mm-hmm.
what you need to do to create your own beautiful brand without breaking the bank. And I think Canva
For
does such a
sure.
beautiful job of helping us do that. So get yourself a
Yes.
Canva account, get your marketing together, get your look together. It helps you create a personal brand. That's how I started. And I didn't have no personal designer. This was all just me playing in Canva and figuring it out.
Camera.
So if I could do it, you could do it.
Come on now. Like this, those are three mighty gems. Okay. The Google, I'm still transitioning on trying to like I use my Google Calendar, but the alerts drive me crazy. Notifications is something that stresses me the
Yeah.
right? But I use it. I
Yeah.
use it. I
Yeah.
just the notifications just drive me up the wall. But going back to
Yes.
the Flow, so I don't use the Flow app, but in my because
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting up there and
Mm-hmm.
my cycle has like been becoming a major stress in my life. And that
Yeah.
whole cycle, knowing when you're productive and all, like I
Mm-hmm.
literally just learned about this over the last year, and I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
why didn't anybody tell me about this before? Because
It should be mandatory teaching for
it should
girls.
be
Yeah.
mandatory. I'm almost 50. Like, why am I just learning about this now?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it
I
truly
now
does a
me having
number
a
to your
daughter,
mind.
yeah, I'm literally gonna teach her this from day one, because if I knew this, so many things would be different. Like the way I
So
schedule
many
my
things would be
day, the
different.
way I schedule things in your month, you'll know when you have the most energy and you want to be out there. You want to be talking to people, doing speaking engagements, talking about
Yeah.
your business, selling. And then when you should be focusing inwards, take care of yourself, your inner queen, like, kind of slow down things. Like it's just so beautiful when you learn this stuff. It was a huge,
Oh my gosh.
huge lesson for me.
I'm literally gonna have to have a podcast episode about this because
Yes.
like I'm so floored as to how come I didn't know about this so many years ago. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But yes. That is
Mhm.
definitely a key resource. Women, ladies who are listening to this, whether you are in business or not, do your research,
Mhm.
because I'm telling you, productivity will
Yeah.
be through the roof once you truly understand your body that way. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yes.
Awesome. So this has been a great chat, Rochelle. Before we sign off,
Yes.
just let the people know, where can they find you? Are you out in the social media streets?
Oh, yes, honey. I am out in these social media streets. You can find me at Queen Success Coach. That's at Queen Success Coach on Instagram, on Facebook, as well as TikTok. All three the same, Queen Success Coach.
Come on now. Yay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Rochelle. I truly appreciate spending time with you, chatting it up, learning about you. Listen, the flow thing is still like in my head. I'm gonna go download it.
That's the hottest. Yep. Yep.
Right? I usually use the Apple app, but then yeah, don't worry. I'm mind blown right now. But okay, back to signing
Yeah.
off. Thank you for joining me on the Mama Means Business podcast. I do hope anyone who's listening, please, please, please connect with Rochelle. She is there to help you, coach you through whatever journey you are on in your queenship. Be sure to cop
Yes.
a copy of her book. You can get it on Amazon, or you can reach out to her directly on any of the social platforms. Rochelle, thank you, thank you, thank you again so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Have a great afternoon.